In these examples, we'll go about simplifying the product or quotient of two rational expressions with monomials in the numerators and denominators. Now, when you're simplifying a product of two rational expressions with monomials for their numerators and denominators, we just need to see what can cancel in the numerator and denominators. So for this first one, we have 21a squared b to the 7th over 8x to the 4th y to the 9th times 10x to the 6th y over 9ab to the 6th. So the first thing we could look at is, let's do the variables first. And doing it in alphabetical order, let's look at the a's. So we have an a squared in the numerator of the first one and an a in the denominator of the second one. So we could cancel one of those a's and we'd still have one a on top. And for the b's, let's see, we have b to the 7th on the top of one, b to the 6th on the bottom of another. So all 6 of those b's would cancel in the denominator, but once again, we'd still have one b on the top. And let's see for that, the x's, we have an x to the 6th in the numerator of the second, and the x to the 4th in the denominator of the first. So 4 of the x's cancel, and then we'd still have 2 x's left on top. And then we have the y and the y to the 9th, and one of the y's cancel. So we still have 8 y's on the bottom. So let's look at those before we do anything with the coefficients. So we had the a and the b on the top, and we still had x squared on the top. And then we had y to the 8th on the bottom. Okay, so now looking at the coefficients, we see what could cancel. Well, with the 21 and the 9, a factor of 3 cancels. So that 3 would cancel. We still have 3 left over. And we still have 7 left over in the top of the first one. And for the 8 and the 10, a factor of 2 cancels. So we still have a 5 on the top and a 4 on the bottom. And then multiplying what's left over on the top. So we'd have that 7 times 5, so that'll be 35. And 4 times 3, so we'd have 12 on the bottom. So that would be the product of those two simplified. Now for a quotient of two rational expressions with the monomials for the numerators and denominators, what we would do is change the operation to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the second. So that would be 6m squared over 35n squared times 25n to the 4th over 4m to the 8th. And now what we do next is pretty similar to what we just did in the previous one. Let's look at the m's. So let's see, we have m squared on the top, m to the 8th on the bottom of the other one. So those two m's cancel. We still have 6 m's left over. And for the n to the 2nd and the n to the 4th, 2 of the n's cancel. So we still have 2 n's left over on the top. And let's see, for the coefficients, let's see, with that 25 and 35, those have a common factor of 5. So the 5's would cancel, so we'd have 5 on the top, 7 on the bottom. And then for that 6 and the 4, they have a common factor of 2. So we'd still have a 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So multiplying the 3 times 5, so we'd have 15. And we still had 2 n's left over on the top. And then we have the 7 times 2, so that would be 14. And we had 6 m's left over on the bottom. So that would be simplified. So when it comes to division, it just means change the operation to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the second fraction.